All right. So, Mr. Nezam, you're going to be the host.
Yes, I
Okay.
am the host. Yeah. Tonight's talk is about compassion, or perhaps it'll be more of an experience around compassion and how that factors into our daily lives. Um, I imagine in a range of ways. And yeah, home is feels kind of silly saying this to everybody because we've all heard this so many times, but it's just a way for us to learn about a lot of Buddhist concepts and ideas through Phuntsok's experience as a Tibetan Buddhist monk for many years, and and through a longer lineage of thousands of years that has devoted a lot of time to this. Yeah. And of course, donations are always welcome. So I'll put the Venmo in, and Phuntsok's Patreon page is also a really great way to make regular donations too. I think that's it.
All right.
So,
So with that,
welcome.
thank you very much. Okay. Uh, so the first meditation that we are going to do, it's going to take a little while. So make sure you're comfortable. And what we will do, basically, we'll be taking breaks from the meditation, and then when we go back to the back, we do a little talk. Okay. So I invite you all to take a posture that you find conducive, and let it be clear in your mind that you're going to enter meditation, and allow the part of you that already know what meditation is, allow that part to guide you. Let that part that already knows what is compassion, what is meditation, let that part guide you. It dwells deep within the intelligence in the body. It dwells deep within the uh, what we might call the unconscious. All we need to do at the level of consciousness is just hold the intention, the wish to enter meditation. Holding that intention and just wait. And eventually you will find yourself almost spontaneously, almost impulsively sometimes, wanting to make adjustments. As soon as you notice that, know that that intention has been communicated and that deep intelligence is responding to that intention. So allow it to guide you. Now, hold that intention, bring your awareness to the body itself. Allow the intelligence in the body to guide you. It knows what meditation is. It knows how to get into it. It knows what the posture in the body should be. So allow it to guide you. Make whatever adjustments you need to make them consciously, make them deliberately. And eventually you arrive at a certain point, you arrive at as a certain awareness, a certain feeling, a certain experience in the body where you feel confident in the body's posture. And there's a deliberate connecting with a sense of calm that is in the body, palpably present in the body. Make connection with that. Rest in that sense of calm. And simultaneous with that sense of calm, you will notice there's a kind of a pleasantness. Make definite contact with that by simply being aware of it and rest in it. And as you're resting in that calm, as you're resting in that pleasantness, you will notice the body sort of dissolving into that calm, into that pleasantness, where tensions are dissolving, awareness is expanding. You are not aware of the tension perhaps in the back, in the shoulders, in the legs, and now you are aware of them. And because your consciousness is imbued with that calm by simply being aware of it, imbued with that pleasantness by simply being aware of it, now you are expanding, spreading that calm, allowing it to enter into that space where tension is basically an invitation to bring calm, to bring that pleasantness, and allow it to enter into that space. And exactly where you felt the tension, now you are feeling, instead of that, that calm, that pleasantness. And as you witness this exchange of that space, rejoice. The body feels steady, comfortable. The legs, the torso, the arms, the shoulders, the hands, the head and neck, they feel centered. Mouth, teeth, tongue resting in their natural places. You're about to go out into a space and you're just at the threshold and you feel the weather, the environment of that space, the warmth of that space, which is the calm, the pleasantness, like a breeze, a sense, a sense of deeper clarity awaiting you, a sense of deeper radiance of awareness awaiting you, a sense of greater collecting of the mind, of focus awaiting you. And as you are in that threshold, and you feel completely ready to fully immerse yourself into that space, and the way you decide, you make that commitment is with a deep breath. So stay aware, being aligned with that space. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose, gently, fully. And through the mouth, completely release. And as you release, let yourself step into that space, letting go, letting go, letting go, allowing the calm to infuse you further and deeper, allowing yourself to go deeper into the pleasantness. Keep letting go, keep letting go. And as you continue to let go, notice the breath and then returning naturally all by itself. Let the breath return completely by itself. And stay in that momentum of letting go, feel the letting go deepening, the sense of calm in the shoulders and the arms, feel the deepening happening in the torso, feel the deepening happening in the body overall, letting go, allowing, letting go, noticing the breath, catching on that calm, becoming itself a bit calmer and calmer and calmer. And also the very act of breathing is becoming more and more pleasant, more and more pleasant. Stay in that, letting go, letting go, letting go, feeling in a somewhat palpable way that you are in the space of meditation. You are with your entire being touching the meditative state. And the deeper you allow yourself to go in, the clearer the mind becomes, the brighter consciousness becomes, the greater the sense of calm, the more ecstatic this sense of ease, the sense of pleasantness. And you are ready to experience that, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. And gently bring attention to the breath, sort of anchoring your awareness on the breath, not grasping at the breath, not pushing away other experiences that may be present, but simply let the breath be the center from which you are experiencing all other experiences. That is, as you breathe in, you know you're breathing in. As you breathe out, you know you are breathing out. And this continues just this way, breathing in, breathing out. And as you breathe out, notice the natural collapsing taking place in the body. And sort of follow that collapsing. That collapsing is taking you deeper into the calm, deeper into the pleasantness. Let yourself go into it. And as you breathe in, skillfully stay in that depth. Stay in that depth as you breathe in. And as you breathe out again, notice the further collapsing, going even deeper into the calm, going even deeper into the pleasantness. And for those who are already familiar with meditation, notice the signs of clarity already appearing, the signs of radiance already appearing, the signs of focus already appearing. Welcome them. Rejoice in their presence, in whatever form they appear to you, whether visual, whether through sound, whether through physical sensations, energetic experiences. However you are familiar or you are now experiencing what is a sign of clarity and radiance. Stay with it as you breathe in. Let yourself drop deeper as you breathe out. Now there is somewhat of a familiarity with the space, almost like you could say cruising in that space. And make the intention to stabilize this journey so that you only go deeper and deeper. And with that intention to do so, we will take 3 full conscious deep breaths. Through the nose, gently, fully breathe in, staying connected to the signs. Releasing through the mouth. Or letting yourself go deeper into that sign or any of the signs. Staying at the depth, gently, skillfully breathe in. And release. Notice the depth, rejoice, stay in that depth for the 3rd time. Another full breath in through the nose, gently, fully. And completely release. Let the breath return on its own. Don't force it to come back. Don't force it to linger. Just let it return by itself. And as it returns, stay in the depth that the exhalation took you as you breathe in, as you breathe out. And every once in a while, deliberately go into wanting to go deeper into the meditation. Let the breath take you deeper, deliberately, even though it's happening already without you having to intentionally want to go there. But if you intentionally want to witness yourself going deeper, just go to the breath as you experience the natural collapsing of the body, so to speak, like settling deeper into your seat. With the exhalation, just follow it, let it take you, and stay in the depth as you breathe in again. And notice the signs enhancing rejoice. Gently bring attention to the space in front of you at the level of your eyebrows. And begin to notice a kind of a sensation in the forehead just by merely bringing attention to that space. However you're feeling it. It might be subtle, it might be strong. It could be temperature related, it could be pressure related, it could be electrical, it could be magnetic, however you're feeling it. Just gently, without forcing, be aware of it. And I want you to consider vastness in terms of time and space. The field of infinite potential, infinite possibilities. And recall your sincere aspiration to be awake, fully awake. Whatever that may mean in its own space, let it remain exactly what it means in its own space. But for now, whatever we can grasp of it, whatever we can understand of it, that's enough. Doesn't have to be full, doesn't have to be complete. And you don't have to remember what you were told that it was supposed to be that you do disagree with. Doesn't have to be that. Whatever you feel, a state where there is some sense of true capacity for true satisfaction, true contentment. It is the core, spaceless, locationless, where the peace that you are touching the crumbs of, as this calm in the body, in the breath, and the mind, where there's an ecstatic awareness emanating from it, that we are experiencing the crumbs of, as a sense of pleasantness, that we are approaching ever closer with each passing breath, with each passing moment. To dwell fully in that core, that would be being fully awakened. And in all the ways that we can consider, some of them are complete, some of them are incomplete. Let us consider it this way in terms of time. There will come a day when you will consciously be dwelling fully awake in that core. where you will, with full conviction, know in your body, whatever that may be, whatever that will be, in the core of your being, you will know you are fully awakened. I want you to consider that you. And for now, the qualities that you can, for now, relate to that being, you can relate with that being, qualities that you will definitely be manifesting, be embodiments of. Whatever is very alluring to you, whatever it means is very meaningful to you. See yourself as perfectly embodying those qualities, those virtues, like compassion, powerful, boundless, unstoppable, love, immeasurable, immovable. For some, it could be certainty. For others, it could be this total, complete, true sense of freedom. Any of those are actual possible virtues that you can and will embody. So whatever touches you as real and truly aspirational, see yourself perfectly embodying them. And let that be accompanied by sincere compassion. And because you are manifesting, embodying all those beautiful virtues, your beauty is beyond. What a magnificent being you are. Every concern that you have now presently are immediately, spontaneously able to be taken care of directly and are taken care of in the very being of your awakened self. The concerns you had about your parents, the concern you had about your partner, the concern you had about your children, your friends, the concerns you had about the world, this being, that being, see them, the possibility of them being completely and directly addressed in the most efficient, in the most fulfilling way. And the thought may come, what about this? What about that? Immediately come to the point of having with the conviction, it is taken care of. How did you become this incredibly beautiful being, possessing, embodying those beautiful virtues of fearless, boundless compassion, all embracing, powerful love, wisdom perfectly aligned with reality as it is? How did you become such a beautiful being? Just think of it. Whoever helped you, whatever helped you, whatever within you made it possible, whatever within you now made this possible. Express deepest respect. Whatever is within you now, whatever you will encounter in the future, whatever knowledge, whatever you will come to know, whoever you will come to encounter or you have encountered, who helped you to become this beautiful being, whether it was totally you or combination of you and others, have a deep sense of trust. And I want you to stand in that person, fully awakened, embodying perfectly all those beautiful virtues, looking backwards in time. This beautiful way of being that you're now experiencing, it didn't come on its own. It didn't spontaneously manifest. It happened due to the contribution of others, whoever they may be, strangers, close friends, family members, direct teachers, indirect teachers, scribbles on sidewalks, paragraphs, and a few sentences in certain books, certain qualities deep within. To all of them, express gratitude. Express gratitude from a place of being that awakened being. And get ready now to hold two states of mind, from the perspective of your awakened self, looking at your not yet awakened you with great compassion, because she knows, he knows deeply, intimately what you're going through. And you're looking at your difficulties through the perspective of your awakened self. And out of this powerful compassion, a compassion coming from a being who has perfected those virtues, who embodies those perfect virtues. Compassion is a perfect virtue. It's a complete virtue, whole virtue, being directed towards the unawakened you. And you wish to make the journey shorter because of that compassion. So you know, in essence, what is it needed for the unawakened you to do so that the unawakened you can quickly become the awakened you. And you wish to impart the experience, you wish to impart the understanding, you wish to impart the resources. So out of compassion for your awakened, unawakened you, send what the awakened you need, unawakened you need. And from the place of the unawakened you, out of conviction of the you that is awakened, is existing in some time, in some space, and you wish to receive its gift. So with a heart of conviction and a heart of compassion, receive. You are worthy of compassion. Receive the gifts of compassion. And if you wish, you can use your imagination in whatever form, like the awakened you is sending gifts of compassion, the gift from out of compassion to you in the form of light, and you are receiving it. And you're storing it as pure potential in your body, in your energy body, in your consciousness, in your emotions, in your environment. You keep receiving with conviction. Keep sending out of compassion. And as you are receiving, continuously see yourself as, I am worthy of this divine compassion. I am ready to let go of the difficulties and the sufferings that I'm going through. I'm worthy of divine compassion's concern. And you could switch. At one point, you are at the receiving end. At one other point, you identify with the one sending. And you go back and forth. Let go of the fears. Let compassion loose. Okay, get ready to come out of the meditation. Let go of the visualization. Let go of everything and just rest in the space of the meditation itself. The sense of calm, the pleasantness. Just rest in the degree of clarity, radiance, and focus. As you witness yourself experiencing any measure of these, have the conviction of knowing that you are in a certain depth in the meditative state. With the depth means you are now a bit closer to that core where pure bliss, pure peace, pure clarity, pure radiance, pure focus, pure compassion, pure love, pure wisdom dwell, emanate, radiate. And with that sense of readiness and joy, witnessing that you are indeed in a meditative state, make the intention now to arise. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose, gently, fully breathe in. And through the mouth, breathe out. And let yourself be aware of your immediate surroundings again, deliberately, consciously. Okay. So this is just a little break from the, which is mostly experiential, meditative. So I'm gonna, during the break, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the theme, the subject for today, which is everyday compassion. Are you hearing a background sound?
Not so bad.
Okay. All right. It's a good thing Sean gifted these. Otherwise, it would be unbearable for you guys. Okay. All right. What I'm doing is with this Wednesday class is sending out a plea to you and through you. And the plea is to allow ourselves to express an intrinsic aspect of ourselves that we are, because we have a lot of misunderstandings, we have a lot of hesitations. And hesitations are they have their they have their reasons, they have their justifications for being there, because we do live and we do have experiences, and we have to rely on our experiences to make judgments about what we may plan to do in the future, and what qualities that we feel might be beneficial, might be appropriate to express or to display at certain times. And there might be a truth to the hesitation as to there are times when, for example, compassion is not the thing to be expressed. Perhaps there's a truth to that. But we want to understand it in a way where it's not just a kind of reaction to fear, but rather a true assessment of the situation, and seeing that the most beneficial way of reacting perhaps is in saying, maybe compassion is not the proper way of doing this. Okay. But all that has to be from a place of truth, rather from a place of fear, rather from a place where we have conditioned ourselves to simply be reactive rather than be responsive in a way that actually is beneficial overall. And this is a very long way, and it seems like I'm speaking abstract, but the plea that I'm making, I'll make it, and I'll go into the what you might call the depth of it, so to speak. And I will go to some superficial levels also. And the plea that I'm making is a plea for us to dwell in our nature of compassion. And I'm not sure, and I could be completely crazy. I could be just that I'm so stressed from what's going on all around the world, and I'm taking refuge in compassion in some way or something, where the compassion that I'm taking refuge in could be just another fear. But at the moment, I'm having a sense of conviction that, I mean, it's more than a year. The earliest stage where we will probably see some sort of going back to normalcy, and then normalcy will not be normal anymore. Will be a new normal. It will never be the normal that we were used to. And even that new normal, it might take another year or two. And why is it taking so long? Why is it has been more than a year already, and still we can't seem to see the end of it? And I think the reason is very simple. We've lost touch with compassion. If indeed, if every civilization, every culture, every society on the planet right here, right now, if they were governed by principles of compassion, this would have been taken care of it at the most a month. The most would have been a month. And I'm sure it would have taken much less time than that. And we would have gone back to some sort of sense of normalcy. And I think it's because of a lack of compassion. That's why we have to endure this for so long. Lack of compassion. And because of a lack of compassion, there is a mistrusting of each other. We don't trust what we are hearing. We don't trust what is being said because of lack of compassion. If we had taken, if the approach that we've imagined, the entire world had taken the approach of compassion to deal with this. Everyone, every single person had taken compassion as the means to deal with this. You can see that this thing this would have been something we would have been talking about in the past. You remember that month? What happened during that month? Now it's in a year, we're still into it. So why are we afraid of compassion? Why are you afraid to go into it? Well, we have our reasons, and of course, we have our lived experiences that tells us that maybe compassion is not the thing. And the reason that we may come to that conclusion is because that's our misunderstanding of reality is also giving us a misunderstanding of what compassion is supposed to be. It can only come from a misunderstanding of compassion, why one might come to a conclusion compassion is not appropriate. There's never a time or space where compassion is not appropriate. There's never a situation where compassion is not the thing that needs to be applied, that needs to be understood, that needs to be the means of relating. If there is a sense of destruction is going to be the outcome if we go into relating with compassion. By destruction doesn't mean it could be destruction to ourselves, destruction to our environment, to the people around us. Sometimes I've even heard of compassion people say when it comes to certain people, compassion is not the thing because they will not help them. And that is because of a warped understanding of what compassion is supposed to be. I guess the riddle, the physics, I'm not even sure if it's physics, or if it probably was around way before then, but I think in the realm of science have somehow adopted this riddle. What is the unstoppable force? The unstoppable force is compassion. So don't tell me there is a place where compassion cannot enter, make meaningful difference. Compassion is the unstoppable force in the universe. And I mean this in the same way a physicist will talk about energy or will talk about whatever. And let's since the mind is a truth seeker, let's try to direct it towards to see if there's any truth in that. That compassion indeed is the unstoppable force in the universe. We simply begin with accepting things as they are. And what is the very first thing to accept as it is? The very first thing to accept is that I am confused. I am confused. Because that is what is happening at this very moment. So to push that aside and try to have something else come in is basically a desecration of truth, a desecration of reality. The reality is, the real lived experience is I am confused, and that's what I have to admit. And by admitting it, I'm aligning myself with wisdom. By admitting it, I am paying homage to truth. And by allowing myself to see what is actually present, then I'm sort of telling truth, hey, I'm interested in you. I want to come to know you intimately. It's like truth is giving you a test. Are you really interested in what is really in front of you? Okay, here's confusion. Tell me what's in front of you. Blue sky, energy, oneness. And these may be ideal things that maybe you may experience once in a while, but at this very moment, is that what you're experiencing? Are you experiencing oneness? Are you experiencing blueness, lightness? No, what are you experiencing right now? There's pain in my left hip. That's what's happening right here, right now. There's annoyance in me because of that sound, because of that sight. That's what's happening right here, right now. Admitting it. And when we begin with this honest admission of what is actually being experienced, I am depressed. That's what's happening right now. I'm agitated. That's what's happening right now. I'm not making it up. That's what's happening right now. So I begin to align myself with wisdom, begin to align myself with truth. And I begin to realize truthfully that these things are really impermanent. Impermanent is not some abstract. It's not some philosophy that just sexy to repeat to myself. Or it just sounds good to say impermanence, so I'm going to say impermanence. And I have no idea what that is. How do I know I have no idea what that is? Because I'm clinging on to things. I want things to remain as they are. I don't mind losing this one. Impermanence can take care of that one, but I don't want impermanence to touch this. Okay. Impermanence, take your filthy hands off this. Okay. Then we don't really fully understand impermanence. When we dwell in, yeah, I'm confused. That's what's happening right now. I'm anxious. There's a pain, discomfort in my left hip. I can't sit like this. I can't do yoga for the life of me. That's what's happening right here, right now. And I can tell you that is something, little side note, a bit funny also, and it's funny and tragic at the same time. You know, that's life. It can have all these qualities, all these dimensions of it all at once. You know how long I've been introduced? I've known about movement yoga. Way back then, it had the name Hatha. I don't know what's, now it's Vinyasa, and I have no idea now. It was just called Hatha, okay? Way back then, when it was just called Hatha, when you used to wear pajamas, some of you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. You used to wear pajamas in class, okay? That was the yoga outfit, your yoga uniform. You wear pajamas. Even though they were pajamas, still they were uncomfortable. Because they were copying the pajamas, but they didn't know exactly how to make it. So way back then, when I was much younger, I could have been a yoga master right now, hatha yoga master now, right? Doing all those things, standing on my head. But way back then, I refused to accept that, hey, you can't bend this way. I refused to accept that. And because I refused to accept that, so it was like telling truth, lie to me. Okay, I want lies. Give me lies, give me lies. This so-called reality, I don't want it. I can't bend forward that much. So I'm pretending. So it was all pretense, never really going, oh, there's pain here. That's a communication. Pay attention to it. So went back and forth. And now, okay, if you remember way back then when it was called Hatha Yoga and we used to wear pajamas in the yoga studios, now, you know, it's all those fancy things people are wearing and they have all different kinds of names. Even now, I'm still can't bend. You know why? Because I refused to accept it way back then. If I had accepted it way back then I would have been able to know what it was and be able to bend. Or at least now know, hey, don't stop trying to do that. I would have arrived at a truth. So that's the thing. When we refuse to accept truth as it is here right now, I was not able to deeply, intimately experience what one might call impermanence. The impermanence of stiffness in my hips. I do have to say, The only thing that I'm able to do right now, and okay, some of you are going to say this is not any kind of progress, but for me it's a progress. Okay, shut up. It's a progress for me. Okay, now I can sit on a cushion. When it was hatha, I could not sit on a cushion. Okay, it was like this only. Now I can sit on a cushion. Okay, because I allowed that impermanence. I allow myself to know that impermanence, that not being able to sit on a cushion was the reality, and I dealt with it as it was, and now I'm able to sit on a cushion. But the other thing, I'm just not, I was too proud. I can't be stiff. I'm young. That's not my reality. Somebody get me out of here. So refusing to accept it, and I was not able to witness the impermanence of stiff hip. Okay, but I was able to witness the impermanence of stiff, whatever it is that allows me not to sit on cushion. So we come to an intimate understanding of the different layers of reality. Like impermanence becomes, when you say impermanence, it's like you're saying something very meaningful. It's not just some abstract, beautiful thing that, you know, when you write it down, it looks beautiful, but inwardly it has no meaning. But impermanence becomes an intimately beautiful reality for you. And then reality begins to express itself. You begin to unravel reality. And the first aspect of reality that you're experiencing is impermanence, the flux, things moving, changing, that the state of being depressed, the state of being confused are impermanent. And when you are experiencing a moment of confusion, you're not terrified, because being terrified is the mind grasping at permanence, as if we have found our true nature. My true nature is confusion, and I'm stuck with it, and I'm afraid of it. But when you understand, when you have an appreciation of impermanence, an intimate appreciation of it, then the flashes of experiences, you just know that the nature is impermanent. They're here forever. Okay, so my confusion will not be here forever. The pain in my hip will not be here forever. Okay, all these things will not be here forever. And in connecting with that, I'm allowing myself to see reality more and more, more and more, more and more. I'm allowing reality to reveal more of its dimensions to me. It's not that confusion was not real and there was something more real. Confusion is real, but it's part of a flux. At one layer, it's confusion, and another layer is something else. Okay, we continue. And as we continue, then we finally one day, we will finally touch what you might call the fabric of existence itself. That which everything that exists is weaved out of, is fashioned out of. And don't let our mind right now is going to try to say, what is that? What is that? What is its color? What is its shape? That's okay for the mind to do that. But just tell your mind, hey, shut up. Okay, that is not what this is, but by fabric. We're using the word fabric because we have no other way of expressing it. This field, which is reality, what we experience as reality, submerges within it. Then we have a direct experience of it. In the same way we had a direct experience or direct appreciation of impermanence, at least some level of impermanence, then we have this deep, intimate appreciation of this thing that we call all true nature. true nature. And in this field of true nature, that's where we encounter it. We let ourselves go deeper and deeper and deeper into it, deeper and deeper and deeper into it. And what we will discover as we allow ourselves to go deeper and deeper into it is that this very field itself, which is what you might call the field of possibilities. That's what it is. It's a field filled with just potential. Anything, whatever, subjective, objective, dual, non-dual, experiential, whatever that we can that can be said to be something that exists, something that is experienced. That's what's giving life to it, you could say. That's what's giving it existence. And it is an intricate web of interconnection. And this interconnection is everywhere. It's everywhere. There's this interconnecting with this, and in this itself is an interconnection of things, and in that there's an interconnection of things. It's like an infinite interconnection. There is not a place you will arrive at where you will not see interconnection. And what is this interconnection basically saying? It is saying egolessness. It's not that ego is non-existent, but ego is not fixed. So this, when it emerges and it appears, it's an ego. But what is it? It is an interplay of other egos having released their egos so that this ego can be. And this ego, because it is simply the outcome of other egos letting go of their egos. It is identities letting go of identities, so we can have this identity. And this identity, which is now appearing, can now go like this and have a new identity. This is an identity, interplaying, becoming another identity, interplaying, becoming another identity. Okay? Because its very nature, what allows it to be is that willingness, the very space of dropping ego, dropping identity. That's what we are, that's what allows for interplay. That's what allows for interbeing, interconnection, which is reality itself. Whatever we experience as an experience, it is an interplay. And this very dynamic, this very essence of this interplaying, what is it? If you were to personalize it, it is a kind of spaciousness that allows for possibilities to arise, possibilities to have a try at existence. But it is so connected with the feel of just pure possibility. When this ceases, it just knows it just goes back to just being potential again. It's not that it completely became annihilated. It's just that these interconnections have ceased interconnecting, interbeing. Now they're doing another kind of interbeing where the interbeing that we are seeing is now the non-appearance of what was there before. So they have gone back into some sort of pure potential. Okay. And this allowing to be, the impetus to emerge, to have a moment at being unexistent, at being something that exists, to be something that exists. The emergence is seeking, you could say, its own sense of satisfaction, its own sense of contentment, its own sense of wishing, a desire to try an identity. And the field that allows for that to happen, that field, which is, we call it reality's field. If you look at all the ways that I've been describing it, you could say, wait a minute, aren't you describing love? That which makes space for identities to just be, because there's an impetus, there's an emergence, there's a wish for contentment in for a moment to take on an identity, to try on an identity, and allowing that to take place. That very capacity of allowing, that very nature of interplaying in order for it to happen, that very sense of, hand, finger, 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 right? But finger let go of identity of being finger so that they can have hand. Did finger get destroyed? No. Now it's part of something else, right? If finger refuse to interplay, we will not have a hand, it will just be fingers. It is because it is in the nature of finger to let go of being finger, we cannot have hand. It is in the nature of everything, at every moment, and I'll even say it in a way that would touch you. Willingness to sacrifice their identity so that another identity can emerge. That's love. Now within that, kids will venture where they're not supposed to. They will try something they will try all kinds of things. They will try, let me see if I can be unhappy. Let me see if I can be not bliss. Let me see if I can be not vast. Let me see if I can be not immeasurable. Let me see if I can be that. And that field of possibility allows it. It allows it. It allows for that which is bliss by nature to experience and see itself as having pain and suffering. It allows for that which is immeasurable, limitless, to experience limitations, to experience being trapped. That which is freedom itself to be caged. That which is vast to see itself as a tiny speck when you look at the cosmos. And here is where love, oh my goodness, takes on this incredible transformation. I give you freedom to experience pain, but I know deep inside that's not what you want. Because you don't go looking for pain thinking I'm gonna get pain. You don't go in the direction of pain with the intention, I want pain. You are looking for a different way of experiencing bliss. Let me see if I can have purple bliss this day. Okay. But in that direction somehow, well, however that came about, we are experiencing suffering instead. So there is this, almost as if deep within we project into reality a sense of limitation, a sense of pain, and giving it, because it is fashioned out of out of the very fabric of reality itself. So it will be pain, real pain. It's not fake pain. It will be real pain, but it is within the weaving of impermanence. It is in the river of impermanence. Okay. But in the moment that it is appearing, it is real suffering. Because reality makes nothing but reality. Okay. Your pain is real, your suffering is real. It's not permanently real, but it is real for the moment that it is being experienced. And it is because that it is real that we have to have a real response to it. So in the mysterious pocket of love, there's a what do you call that? In case of danger, what do you call that? A contingency? Contingency. Okay. Love has a contingency. And that contingency is, I don't care where you want to go, but when you experience pain, I'm coming to get you. Okay. When you're lost in not knowing who you are anymore, and because of that, you're experiencing pain, and you want to know who you are, and you're lost, and you're confused, I'm coming to get you. Even though I give you the freedom to go in that space, but I'm coming to get you. That contingency plan is compassion. Compassion is our core calling us back. When we venture outside of ourselves, outside of our bliss, taking the very fabric of reality, transforming it into an experience of suffering. The very recognition this is suffering is our core being shouting at us, hey, you've lost yourself. You're no longer who you are. When that meditation that we're doing, that awakened you, when that awakened you plays with reality and then you could say manifests or emanates the appearance of a being who's suffering, that you could say is not real suffering in the sense that it's not a being who's lost, but rather a display. We are children, you could say. We are playing with reality without really fully understanding it. And we create conditions which are completely opposite to who we are, what we are. But because of the confusion, we are convinced that's what we are, that we are suffering. That we are this pain, we are this hopelessness, we are this inability we are this imprisoned, the imprisoned. We are depressed. We are anxious. We believe that that's what we are at the moment. And because it is reality that was manipulated, of course, it's easy to fall for it, to believe that indeed, it is real. It is real. It is real. Because we are playing with the fabric of reality. So recognizing this compassion as the contingency plan of love to go and rescue. So you could say compassion is a natural aspect of our innate nature, of our innate being. It's not it's not some strange costume to try on. When we allow ourselves to have compassion, we allow ourselves to act out of that compassion. We are returning to our being, to our core. And sometimes the evidence of the suffering is all here when we are in touch, when we are in touch with who we are. Oops, I'm gonna. I just noticed that. I am in darkening. Now I'm in too brightness. Okay, all right, this is better. A little. Okay. Oh, sorry, pressed the wrong button. What patience you people have. I wasn't trying to test it or anything like that, okay? By accident. So love makes space. So be open to love, or accepting. And when you're moving, be compassionate. And this also bring it into the field of love. Also this, act towards it with compassion. And this is a truth. When you do something truly beneficial for yourself, when it is truly beneficial, then it will be beneficial for all. Okay? You're trying to make a decision in life, and it seems to include only you. If it will really benefit you, in truth, I mean, without you even trying, without you even making any conscious effort, it will benefit others also. It's because of that interconnecting, interbeingness, that field of interbeingness. Okay. And in the same way, when we think we are doing something beneficial to ourselves and we are harming ourselves, we are also harming others. Okay. So there is a selfishness that is based on misunderstanding. It ends up harming everyone. And there's a selfishness or an approach to a self based on understanding that self is just this. And when you take care of this self, you take care of everything connected to it. Okay. And this is something that I think when we are trying to be compassionate, we become very confused about. We think that harming myself is somehow a compassionate thing, and somehow it will help, someone else will be helped by it. I mean, there are instances, rare instances like that, okay? Like a child is incapable of understanding certain things. So you have to, for the moment, endure something that is for you uncomfortable, but with the hope that the child will understand that this is uncomfortable for you. And because it is uncomfortable for you, eventually it's like giving the child a tainted gift. Okay. But in the present stage of the child, and the child could be 175 years old. Okay. You know what I mean, don't you? Okay. Sometimes the adult in the room could be a 3-year-old. Okay. So when you're dealing with those kinds of children, you have the appearance, but you have to know consciously what you're doing. Really, this is uncomfortable for me. This is really unpleasant for me. But in this moment, this is the best way to help this person rise up a little bit. Okay? Without hiding necessarily the fact that at least to yourself, what it really is for you. Okay? So in the same way, and this is usually how it is presented, it's not usually presented the way I'm presenting it, but it's the same reasoning, you could say. It is usually presented, go help someone and you will be helped. A lot of people are tired of hearing that. Go help someone and you will be helped. But how are you helping that person? Yeah, take that. That's good for you. With children, you do that, okay? But know that you created a problem for yourself that you have to deal with in some other way, okay? Like a very simple thing I can think of is you're allergic to shellfish. Sorry, I don't know why that example came to my mind, but that's what came up. You're allergic to shellfish, and you want to please your friend, you want to have compassion for them, you want to love them. And they say, I want shellfish, I want shellfish, I want shellfish. Yeah, I want shellfish. So out of what you think, oh, I'm being compassionate for them. They're hungry, they want shellfish. I'm going to allow them, I'm going to take them to a place where they can have shellfish. I'm going to express my love for them, right? And of course, you get sick. And if that person has a bit of conscience, that person becomes guilty. Who did you help? Who did you help? You help nobody. Now you're giving the person guilt, and you have your allergy came up. Okay. Okay. Know what you are able to do, and know what the other is able to do, and I'm sure you will meet somewhere where you're both able to do something, and you grow from there. Okay. Yes, I know somebody was thinking that thought maybe. Yes, your allergy to shellfish is impermanent, but at that moment, it is not. Okay, at that moment, it is an allergy to shellfish. Maybe later on, because of impermanence, you may not be allergic anymore. Okay, but right now, that's what it is. That's the reality. Respect reality. Okay. There's this beautiful sutra I like to quote every once in a while. It seems to make sense in almost every context, especially when talking about reality. where the Buddha is talking with someone. He says, when a regular, ordinary person looks at a glass of water and says, a glass of water, the Buddha said, that person is completely wrong. The person is lying. And the Buddha said, but when someone who's awakened looks at that and says, a glass of water, the Buddha said, now there's somebody who's telling the truth. Okay. Let that swirl around in your head for a little bit, okay? All right. So truth is not necessarily something other than what is happening. When you're imposing, projecting what you would like it to be rather than what it is, then you're outside of the realm of reality. So what is the reality at that moment? If it's something that is happening, unfortunately for most of us unconsciously, say, I'm just looking at a story. I'm just looking at what I'm just projected, what I'm projecting. And there's a way for you to come to realize that. When you see things, it's like in the Matrix where the cat, walks by or something. Anybody, are you too young for the Matrix? Something in reality, in your experience of reality, sort of contradicts what seems to have been what seemed to have been a conviction about that's real. Okay, like I'm in the most superficial way. In my mind, I'm thinking the store is right across the street. In my mind, and I'm telling people, the store is across the street. And when you go directly across the street, the store is not there. So that contradicts what was a felt reality. Okay. Sometimes it could be a direct experience like that. Sometimes it could be something else that you remember doesn't seem to quite fit that. It's supposed to be on the 11th floor, but there's only a one-story building there. Something like that. Okay. So, wait a minute. Am I not supposed to be talking about everyday compassion? Okay, here it is. You are compassion moving in the field of love. Movement, action, relating, that's compassion. Allowing, being, making space, that's love. Accepting, recognizing, acknowledging what is actually there, that's love. And since what you're witnessing is interplay, so it's one and the same with wisdom. Love and wisdom are one and the same. Compassion is acting from that place, from that wisdom, acting from that love. So in the beginning, I said, this is a plea. And the plea is when compassion, when something happens and your cord of compassion is strung, I beg you, don't damper the sound. Let it play. Connect. At least, even if compassion wants to go and do something, if it is impossible for you to go do something, at least in the subjective realm, wish it. Okay? Sometimes you could be directly in front of something where compassion is calling you to act, but you don't find the resources within you to act. even though logically or reasonably speaking, you have the resources, but for some reason, there's something else missing within you to actually take hold of those resources and actually act out of compassion. So that's your reality at that moment. You're not able to, that's lack of allowing compassion to spontaneously act through us. And that's our reality, that's our conditioning. So at least in those moments when that's what's happening, at least send a wish. Send a wish for you to be able to tap into your resources to actually do something. If you are confused and that's what's going on, that's the reality, then make a wish. May I not be confused. Okay? Compassion is not only showing you there's somebody there starving, I don't care what you do, go get some food and feed that person. That's not the only thing that compassion is asking you to do. Compassion is also by witnessing that, it could be asking you, it could be a mirror asking you to look within, have compassion for you. Perhaps the reason that you are very touched by homeless people is because there is a deep sense of fear of homelessness within you. So have compassion for that you who has that fear. And then later on in some way, at least with a wish, try to do something about that homelessness that you're seeing there, that thing that you're seeing there. And don't wait for big moments for compassion to come into play, for you to say, oh, now it's time for compassion. In every little thing, when you encounter someone on the streets, even though there isn't any evident display of suffering, but deep inside you, you know there is some measure of suffering going on in everybody's life, especially nowadays, in some form or another. Okay? And in whatever capacity you have, by capacity, I mean everything, the willingness to do it, the capacity to do it, the knowledge to do it, or when all these things are present, when you have them, and compassion is asking you to exercise them, exercise them. The more we allow ourselves to wield the staff, the power of compassion, the clearer our mind becomes, the closer we get to the return, where this appearance of being limited gets less and less. And sometimes, believe it or not, some of you may consider it to be superstition. Your wish itself could be powerful if it was uttered, pronounced by sincere compassion. Okay? Don't take your wish as being just mere empty gestures. Sometimes they could be the most powerful thing that you can do, as long as sincere is done out of sincere compassion. All right, it is way past time. At least I talked a little bit about everyday compassion. I don't know if anyone has any question. We can entertain a few questions now. Oh my goodness, I say it was gonna be mostly experiential, right? There goes that. Oh boy, I can talk, can I? All right. Okay, so we'll end with what should have been the experiential part, okay? So we're gonna go back to the meditation and we're gonna see ourselves acting from compassion, okay? Okay, I mastered sitting on cushion. Okay. Stop playing. Okay, now, since we already touched the meditative state, and it wasn't so long ago, just remember how it was in your body, how it was with your breath, how it was in the mind. And by merely recalling, we begin to re-experience, we begin to taste the experience, the meditative space in the body. Once you recognize any signs, any re-experiencing, any tasting, rejoice, welcome in the body, in the behavior of the breath, in the mind. And now it's a stronger sense of being in that space. Now let's stabilize with a nice deep breath, staying connected, staying aware, gently breathe in through the nose fully. And let yourself drop into that space. Let go, let go, let go, let go, let go. Experiencing going deeper into the calm in the body, deeper into the pleasantness in the body, deeper into the calm in the breath, deeper into the calm in the mind, deeper into the pleasantness in the breath, deeper into the pleasantness in the mind. Letting go. Leave the breath alone. Let the breath return to its own rhythm, staying in that momentum. And however you felt touching clarity, touching radiance, touching focus, you begin to re-experiencing them. Perhaps it's a sound, perhaps it's a vision, perhaps it's some sort of energetic sense, a movement. Rejoice, welcome them. And go back to the space in front of you, in the presence of the you, the fully awakened you that you will definitely become in some whenever. And because it is beyond time, beyond space, it can visit you. So it's visiting you actually. And you're witnessing your own continuum, something connected to your own continuum, having transformed into every ideal you can ever imagine, and even more, especially the ones that are now very relevant to you. If compassion is relevant to you, see yourself fearlessly, boldly embodying perfect compassion. Not some perfect where there's anxiety, but a compassion without anxiety, without fear. A compassion confident in itself. Compassion deeply, intimately connected to its core, knowing its full limitations, if there are any. And when you felt compassion, you feel yourself touching limitless power. You feel that's what you need. That's what the compassion is pointing to. Perhaps that's what it is now. Fully living, existing in that limitless power that is compassion. And that fully awakened you looks at you right here, right now, sitting, meditating. It reads you perfectly. It knows you more intimately than you know your own self. It knows your troubles, your difficulties, and why you have them. So allow yourself to be the object of your awakened self's compassion. Yes, you're worthy of compassion. You're worthy of divine compassion. Don't worry in the cosmic scale of things what your suffering is as long as it is anything that can be identified in any way, in anywhere, in time, in space as suffering, it is suffering. And allow yourself to be bathed by the caring compassion of your awakened self. And witness here and now the might of compassion. Love allows, compassion reaches out and says, no, you're not going to have this. So the rays of compassion that reach you are like little hooks. They hook onto your pain, your suffering, whatever it may be. I suffer because of this. I suffer because of that. And the mere acknowledgement, I suffer because, is a wish to be freed. And the hooks of compassion grab onto all the suffering that you have and draws them back into itself. And as it draws them back into itself, they dissolve into just pure potential, no longer suffering. And suffering takes them without even thinking whether or not it is going to suffer. It doesn't care. All it cares about is you are not going to suffer, and it's going to stop you. You can tell yourself, I've learned the lesson of this pain. May it go away. Or may I finish with the lesson of this pain. If that's how you will allow the pain, the suffering to go. But see yourself as worthy of being freed of it. Let compassion do its work on you. Let them go, let them go, let them go. And see that awaken you. Come to the crown of your head. Have a palpable sense of that presence above your head. And see it descend through the crown of your head, arriving in the very center of your heart, radiating its brilliant presence in your heart. And repeat to yourself, I dwell in the field of love. With compassion, I move. And understanding love to be everything that appears, to be about interplays, interweavings. And when you notice an interweaving has gone into a space where it's lost a sense of itself, and there is pain, you want to reach out and bring them back. And it could be staying with yourself. For this moment, the way reality has been weaved, gluten takes me out into the realm of suffering. So when I'm reaching out to gluten, compassion comes in for myself. It's not the gluten you want. Come back. Have compassion for myself. Compassion gives me the strength to not see gluten as something to take, not now. This medicine doesn't taste good, but taking it will help the other pain. So out of compassion, take the medicine. You see a homeless person, and definitely that person is not totally sane. How do you help this person? I'm not a doctor. So I send light with compassion. If sanity is what he needs, may he gains it. May he be free of that condition of not being sane. Someone bumps into you. You are in the field of love. You move because of compassion. Instead, you turn around. Are you okay? Genuine concern. And see yourself going into the world, doing your regular everyday activities. Remember, you abide in the field of love. Every movement, let it be guidance of compassion. And we can even recreate today. You wake up. You even uncover yourself out of compassion for yourself. You see the interconnection of all those connected to this blanket. Your shower, the things you use them out of compassion for yourself. You have breakfast connected to all the hands who make the food available right here on your table. Out of genuine care for yourself, you enjoy them. And wherever you go, to your office to work, outside to work, you're moving your compassion, moving in the field of love. You drive. You take that subway. You take this bus. You take your Uber. You get your coffee, your tea, the bag, the tea leaves, the cup, all the hands coming together. The barista. Someone jumps in the line. What's the compassionate thing to do? Not the coward thing, not the fearful thing. What is the compassionate thing to do? Just ask compassion. Compassion knows. Maybe it's a child. And here you are, sitting to this very body. Have compassion to this very mind. Have compassion so that they can be compassionate in turn. This meditation, even we touched genuine compassion and love for half of a moment. That was incredibly powerful. And that is something that has much merit, that can be shared, that can be dedicated. So dedicate tonight to something that you genuinely have compassionate concern about. Gyo di kyo kun senam yeshi zogzog shin senam yeshi lechung wei damba gunyi doba shu. And let everything go and just rest in the space of the meditation, noticing the calm, the pleasantness, noticing the clarity, the radiance. Rejoice with the intention to arise. Take a nice deep breath that you feel in here, in through the nose, out the mouth. And deliberately, consciously, joyfully reconnect with your immediate surroundings through your sense of touch, your sense of hearing, and your sense of sight. Okay. Thank you very much. Wow. I thought it was going to be very short. At that moment, it seemed very real. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Phuntsok.
Thank you.
Guardian from the dark.
Thank you.
Thank
Phuntsok.
you, Nezam.
Yeah, thank you.
Nezam. Thank you. All right.
Okay.
Okay, take it away, Maestro.
My job? Okay, great.